Hey, so this week I customized Mutant Mayhem Raph, and I'm going to show you how I did it. So this is the basic figure. It's easy to take off his belt, and I start with a matte acrylic varnish. And I'm just covering everything because that's going to work as my primer layer for all the other acrylic paints that I'm going to put on after. And I'm just going to use some simple techniques like how I started doing customs. These were the first type of things I did. Well, first cover him with a primer, but then I'm going to give a little bit of color and then a wash and dry brushing to bring out all the details that are already in the figure. So first I have raw sienna because the sides of his shell are supposed to be like sienna, beige-ish, browner, but I do the sides, and then in all the cracks I'm trying to get deep, and then I just spread a little bit over the top of everything to give it a little brighter, darker color. And I also go on the back of the shell. You don't really see it because that red of the back of the shell is pretty close to the sienna color. Now I mixed with the raw sienna some white acrylic primer, white acrylic, and that was too white, so I added a little brown and a little yellow to get like a pizza crust color. And then because it had primer in it, it's good. I can go on the shell, and I go on all the places I'm going to paint later in a brownish color. And I went with some raw sienna on his bottom of his shell because I'm going to paint the little turtle to match the big turtle. So Nickel Azo Gold, it's from Golden Paints, and I just got it in a random pack of paints. And it's cool, it's a light fast paint, so I think what that means is like the light shows through it. So when you go on like a brown color, it looks like brown leather. But I think if I went over yellow, it would look like gold, maybe. Now to the pizza slice, I start with the sauce. And the pepperonis I just cover red as well. Then I go with some black on the pepperonis and a little dry brushing on the crust to show a little bit of charring. And then I have daffodil yellow for the cheese, and I just do a light coat, and it's kind of blending in with the red because it's still a little wet. But I want some of the sauce to show through. And then I go with a deep red on the pepperonis, and a little bit of black still shows through, but they're a darker red pepperoni. And then I do another thin dry brush coat of the cheese with the daffodil yellow to make it look like a pizza. So that's what he looked like before. Now I'm covering everywhere I just painted with matte acrylic varnish because I want to seal it up before I move on to adding some washes, because the wash is mostly water and it would make the paint run that I already put. So I put a little bit of burnt umber, and then I go like twice the amount of water as I do paint. So like 2/3 water, 1/3 paint. And I just want to get in all the cracks. And if it goes in other places, that's okay. I'm going to wipe some off, then the baby gets the same. And then on the high spots, I just wipe a little bit off, but leaving it I don't mind it. And then I move to a black wash, and then all the wraps are getting the black wash to make all their details come off or come out. And also the little ooze canister, I'm going to get in all the cracks on that. Then I go back to my brown wash because I forgot to do the shell of the baby turtle, or because I wanted the chest to dry before I do the shell. Yeah, that's why I did it in that order. And I got in the design on the side. Now I go hunter green wash, and that's again 1/3 paint, 2/3 water. And I'm just covering all of the skin and a little bit of the shell as well because I want to get some green in the shell. Why not? So since it's so watery, it's going to naturally go to the cracks and the deeper spots. So I'm not even going to wipe any of this green off because a little bit of different color variation on the lighter spots I want as well, because it'll look more natural. But then more will be in the cracks and make them pop out more. Yeah. Now I'm just dry brushing silver on all the metal pieces, so it's going to bring out like a brighter silver on all the edges and stuff. It's going to make everything pop more and be a little more shiny. And then since you have the black, I already put in all the cracks. Once you do the dry brush, everything really comes to life and looks real, or at least realistic. So yeah, that's all the weapons are ready. The pizza's ready. That's again before. Now, so the shell is dark. I started with a dry brush of raw sienna, but now I'm going over the shell with another thin dry brush of raw sienna, and then I dry brush daffodil yellow, so it's a brighter color. It's going to really pick up all the details, especially since I got it so dark in all the deeper parts. I can only say cracks so many times in a video. They might flag me. No, it's not a bad word, but I don't know. Anyway, it really starts to come to life with the dry brushing now. All the details and everything, and then you have lots of different colors because it goes on lighter and darker in some spots, or not at all, and you have the different colors from the wash. Everything just really comes to life. So yeah, my first customs were a wash, or just putting a wash on a figure, because I had done some kind of cosplay stuff, not for any like conventions or anything. I invented, well, I made a comic about a character named Rapman. So he's a rapper and a superhero, and I put out an EP, but then I was doing the costume because I filmed a video during Occupy, in Occupy, with full like gear on, as superhero, for a song called Hero. And I saw different techniques like washes and dry brushing. I thought that looks cool and fun to do, and I should do that on an action figure. So that's how I started doing customs. Well, now I have a black fine liner. This one's like 0.05, and I'm just going over the natural lines that are already there. I'm kind of copying the collector's edition they did, but I'm not doing as much as they did. I'm just getting the natural lines that are already in the figure. They added a lot of extra like scratches and details, and also on like their shell they added red scratches. But if they just got scratched on their shell, I don't think it would bleed because it's a shell. But on the arms and stuff, the red is fine. I don't know, I just thought that was weird. But now I have a green fine liner, and I had a sepia fine liner that I used to do a bunch of lines on the sides of his shell. Now, yeah, green, and I'm just getting the natural lines that are already in the figure to bring that out and make it a little darker and pop more. I could have went extra, but I think less is more sometimes, or most of the time, especially on stuff like this, if you want to actually make it look realistic, which is what I go for. So that's him. That's how I did it. I think if you get like 5 cheap figures and give them a wash and a dry brush, I think you'll be as good as me. Maybe only like 3 or 4, depends how good you are already. But it's a really easy process. It's fun. I suggest you might want to try it if you do try it, but it doesn't take a lot to get good at these simple techniques. And thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, remember, always keep your head up. Peace.